Hey everybody, so today we're going to be talking about ecological succession, which is the process of ecological change in an ecosystem where one community is slowly replaced with another community. There's two types, one is called primary, the second is called secondary, not surprisingly, and a good example of this was what we saw playing out in Yellowstone National Park in 1988 when there was a fire that started that ended up burning about 1.2 million acres over many months. And of course, after everything was burnt down, how did that community start to fix itself, repair itself, and get back to where it was? How did that happen? So there's a video on this on YouTube called The Rebirth of Yellowstone that you can follow this link to watch if you are interested. Definitely recommend. But primary succession occurs when a community forms in an area that was previously uninhabited, meaning there was no life there, it was completely barren, and now we have the start of organisms moving into that place. So this could be exposed rock from volcanic eruptions, it could be glaciers retreating, it could be sand that's been eroded. So if I have a volcano that erupts, there's a lot of lava that's been deposited, and eventually, of course, very, very slowly that lava cools down, forms some sort of rock, and eventually we will start to see some sort of life forming on that rock. How exactly does this happen? So the nice part is that the process of primary succession is very predictable. We know exactly the steps it's going to follow. It's going to start with bare rock, and slowly that rock is going to become soil because of pioneer species. So a pioneer is a person, that's a name that we gave to people that moved out west to the United States to inhabit those areas when nobody else lived there. So a pioneer species, similarly, is the first organisms that begin to grow in an area where there's nothing else that can survive. Things like lichen, mosses, bacteria, fungi, grasses, because these are pretty low maintenance species. They don't require a lot of nutrients from the soil, so they're able to survive. And they're going to decompose over time. They're going to release nutrients to form a layer of soil that's going to allow more complex, larger plants to grow in. As you can see here, we're not seeing very large plants, right? It's all little mosses and little tiny grasses. That's what's going to start us off. And so we have our bare rock because, again, nothing else is going to be surviving there. And then we have lichens, and those are going to start to break down that rock into soil, which is the really neat part. We're going to start to create a small, thin layer of soil in which small annual plants and lichens can survive. Slowly, grasses and perennials will be able to move in, so these will all be our pioneer species, the first to set foot. Eventually, these will be replaced with other grasses, shrubs, shade-intolerant trees, such as pines, and then eventually we will reach a climax community that's going to be composed of shade-tolerant trees, such as oaks and hickories. This is going to be your mature community of trees that's going to stay now in equilibrium with your ecosystem. This is going to be what you expect your ecosystem to look like at the end of hundreds, if not thousands of years. And you can check out other examples of primary succession at these two links in both Alaska and Washington State in the US. Feel free to do that. And then we have secondary succession, which occurs in an area that was previously occupied by living organisms, but that community was destroyed by some sort of a disturbance. And that disturbance could be a fire, it could be farming, hurricanes, tsunamis, tornadoes, whatever it is that could destroy an ecosystem. How then do we start to rebuild life there? If we burnt something down, it doesn't stay burnt, thankfully. And the process is a little bit easier this time around because we had an established community that was destroyed, but now we have soil still, which is key because now we're going to take less time than primary succession to rebuild everything. Our pioneer species in this example would be weeds and grasses. And it's going to begin with weeds and grasses that are able to grow quickly, and it's going to continue. So you see again weeds and grasses. It's going to continue with shrubs, and it's going to then eventually be replaced with your climax community that will be in equilibrium. this is the process. Once again, same thing, but it's going to take less time.